Hi, this is Father Bill, friend of Dr. Bob's here in Austin. Welcome back. Doing our series on the 12 steps and how they emerged out of the process that the Oxford group used to change people, to change themselves. At the heart and center of their change process were the four absolutes. We're going to talk about more about these in steps 6 and 7 next time. But they were honesty, purity, unselfishness, and love. And these were the way they did an inventory. They took a sheet of paper, divided it into 4 parts, wrote honesty, purity, unselfishness, love, and then began examining their life from the perspective of how did they fall short in living up to these standards. You know, somebody once said to me, you can look at addiction as a love disorder. And I think that really makes a lot of sense, that the love that ought to be in my heart and coming from me to you, from me to God and God to me, there's a blockage there. And that was what the Oxford group people believed, that there were blockages between ourselves and God, ourselves and other people. And there are also blockages between those other people and God. And that's the problem. And so the problem is we are separated out from God, disconnected from God, disconnected from other people, disconnected at the deepest level from our own selves, from our true selves. And so the process of recovery is really about removing the blocks. Bookman used to say his problem was he worked with a bunch of constipated Christians. They were constipated. There was blockage there. That which should have been flowing was not. And so it had to be removed. And the 5th step is a huge part of that. And it addresses all 3 areas. It says we admitted our wrongs to God. We admitted them to ourselves. This was their belief and conviction. It's not just to do it, but you've got to be convicted, convinced at the deepest levels that the way you've been living life, the way I had been living life, that there was something wrong with me. I used to think there was something wrong with the people around me, and so I'd go and change those people around me. It was really big on the geographical cure. Once I stopped doing that, I had to face myself, and that meant going inside. That meant digging into some of the things that I swore I would never reveal to anybody else. You want to know what's the stuff of the 4th step? That is the stuff. It's not to do a brilliant analysis of your psychological profile. You know, it's not to answer 50 questions that somebody has dreamed up as ways for you to do your 4th step. It's for you to go inside and face yourself as you stand there in the presence of God. That's what they did. God, show me the things that are wrong with me. And we know the things that are wrong with us. They're the things that are touched with shame, touched with guilt, and things that I say, you're never going to hear these things come from my lips. Well, what they would do is get with another human being and in real privacy and with a sense of tremendous importance, that if this wasn't done, you're not going to go much further. So I did my 5th step 45 years ago. Did it with a man. I was scared to death in doing it, but I knew I had relapsed many times before that. I knew I had to get this stuff out, and so what I did was I shared from the deepest level, and it was frightening. It was painful, but it was tremendously healing. At the end of it, he said something to me I will never, ever forget. He said, Bill, welcome to the human race. And he was right. That was the day I rejoined the human race. I stopped running. I stopped hiding from myself. And I began a lifelong process of trying to ultimately live by these standards, to be honest, to be pure in my life, to be unselfish, and to be loving. So, scary step, big one. People who say it doesn't cost anything to join the 12-step program, not true. This is what it costs. It costs that honest conversation with another human being. But there's nothing like it, and God wants you to do it. Yeah? So get with it. Ain't going to kill you. It's actually going to give you life. God bless. Keep coming back.